Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town for this Thursday, June the 10th. Weather is getting nicer, waters are getting warmer, and the dangers of the water, along with the benefits of the water, especially the big lake, are beckoning to people and need to be warned by people. And as a service to our listeners, and importantly for those of you listening now, pass it on to those who aren't listening, some tips about water and boating safety. Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott, who is the head of the department's marine units, on the other side of our Zoom connection this morning. John, good morning. Welcome back to WHTC.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
We are well. Before we talk about boating safety, it's still a little chilly to be out in Lake Michigan, isn't it?
It is, but the weather is getting warmer, just like you said. People are flocking out to the beach and the pier heads.
The reason why I was just asking is the water still is it's warmer, and the threat of hypothermia is over, but yet it's still not warm enough to, bring the soap on the rope. Shall we?
No, it's still pretty chilly out there. You got to be careful out there still. So even with the hypothermia, you can get hypothermia in warmer waters, but it is chilly out there. Yeah.
616-395-1450 if you have a question for Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott. Before we talk about boating safety and water safety, and of course, Operation Dry Water is coming up early next month, I'm going to throw a question that I really probably should have posed last month to former Holland City Councilman Craig Rich. He, of course, is involved with Michigan Shipwreck Research Associates, and they are involved in searching, trying to find mysteries and histories in the inland seas. Apparently, there's another find about a sunken boat, a notable one in the Green Bay area. I don't know whether or not they have found it, but when people such as Valerie and Craig from MRSA or other organizations want to do some exploring, do they really reach out to your office, or is it more to the Coast Guard because of the depths they may have to search and try to find some of these sunken treasures?
No, anytime we have people diving, they might reach out to us, but most time I would say that would be more of a Coast Guard that they would reach out to them. But we have people that would reach out to us and advise us of plans and where they're going to be diving, and that way we can just kind of have a safety plan for them, or just be aware that they're out there if they don't return, if an emergency happens.
And part of it, I think, more than anything else, is because of the depths they are diving. The sheriff's department, I would think, is more involved with maybe no more than a mile away from the shoreline.
We'll go from wherever we're called. If there's an emergency further out than a mile, we're going to go out there. Our dive team is very well versed in that sort of things. Interestingly enough, we just got back from a 3-day dive training up at Higgins Lake, where we were diving in depths of excess of 60 feet and such.
Another notable, I want to stay a little bit on this crash situation, the shipwreck situation, or in a situation a number of years ago, a very notable airplane went down in Lake Michigan. This was back in the 50s, so obviously it's far below our times. But I wouldn't say there are drills, but are there plans for, we have something that went into the water? And again, might be Coast Guard thing, might be also a thing the Sheriff's Department might be involved with as well.
Absolutely. As I was talking about before, the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office dive team, we respond to numerous types of emergencies, whether it's a search and rescue for a possible drowning victim, or if it's a crash way out in Lake Michigan. We have robots that can dive within excess of 150 feet, if not further. We utilize that quite a bit. We also have side scan sonar that we can use, which helps us out. We can find certain objects on the bottom of the water with pristine clarity, even with that sonar. So we use our dive team gets called out to different counties, even up north, that further up as far as Petoskey. We'll go if a county or a municipality ask for our assistance.
616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. If you have a question for Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott, he is with the Marine Unit, and that means we're talking boating and water safety. Let's talk a little bit about Operation Dry Water, because that will be taking place before the next time I believe we are scheduled to chat. Talk about what exactly Operation Dry Water is and how the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department is cooperating in this effort.
I'm glad you asked me about that, because it's one of the things I wanted to talk about. So Operation Dry Water is it's heightened awareness and enforcement for boating under the influence. So during the time period of July 2 through July 4 of this upcoming July weekend, or 4th of July weekend, the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office will have extra patrols on the water. And what we're doing is to combat the issues of drunken boating and to promote sober boating while we're out there. We're teaming up with the U.S. Coast Guard as well with this.
Now, about drunken boating or boating operating a vessel under the influence, be it of alcohol, recreational marijuana, it's the same thing. Clarify for our listeners, and I believe I know the answer, but I want our listeners to hear it from you about the differences and how shall we say it's easier to get into a situation of drunken boating or operating while under the influence in a boating situation than it is in a motoring situation. I'm led to believe it's easier to slip into it, and it's easier to not realize you are under the influence when you're operating in the operating boat as it is operating a motor vehicle. Absolutely.
I mean, with a boat, it's one of the few places where you can have an open intoxicant on the water. It's still 0.08 is the legal limit for boating. And when you're out on the water, you don't realize it's a long day. You get tired. You get the sun beating down on you. It's very easy to become under the influence with all those. You get dehydrated, then you start drinking alcohol on top of that, which it's a recipe for disaster. Boats are obviously not like cars. They don't have brakes. There's currents. Everything's moving and shifting and rocking back and forth. It's very easy to get disoriented out there, especially when you've been drinking. And it's very easy to you get under the influence faster. You get your intoxication level gets there faster because of those issues, because of the dehydration, because of you're out in the sun. It's very easy to fall into that situation.
616-395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott.
Yeah, you ever had somebody that's been drinking, boating, and one time you had a chase, and how many knots you had to go? The speed limit, what was the speed that you had to go chasing? Hang up and listen. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. High-speed boating chases. That we don't talk about it too much.
No. We typically don't get in a lot of those issues. Basically, we try to get your MC numbers off the boat, and we can run those in our system, and we usually curb a lot of those types of issues.
Yeah, the high-speed boat chases, I think we saved that for the movies in a different type when it was not a chase because the operators were operating under the influence of alcohol. They were operating under the influence of greed, or they were, they were running, in the days of Prohibition, running rum, or they're doing, contraband or, some sort of, nefarious stuff, but that's more for the movies.
Yeah. We have a very good boating community out there. For the most part, everybody's paying attention to the rules, and they're watching out for each other. And a lot of the people that live along the lakeshore, they work with the sheriff's department or the sheriff's office as well, and they help us out with finding problem boaters by getting MCD numbers, taking pictures of the MC numbers, taking pictures of boats going through the slow no wake areas at a higher speed.
Yeah, we'll talk about no wake in a second. I hope I'm not going to ask for state secrets on this. How fast can the patrol boats go on the waters under normal circumstances? The department's patrol boats. How fast can they go?
I would say if you really, I mean, it depends on which one. Some of them have twin engines, some of them have single engines. I would say a lot of them could go in excess of 40 miles per hour. If not faster if we had to, but typically we don't like to push that envelope. Engines are expensive. We don't want to blow out engines. So typically we're cruising around 25 to 30 miles per hour if we have to get somewhere, but we can go faster than that if need be.
Yeah, just a little short burst would be the best way of doing it. Let's get to another call. Good morning. You're on the line with Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott.
Good morning. I got a question now. Since they had the incident out there with the girl being assaulted, are they ever going to put like security cameras out there, maybe at the state park?
Hold on, Peg's wants to weigh in on this as well.
I'm sorry to disrupt. We did get a release that's in my next newscast about them finding that this woman, and you can correct me, Sergeant Knott, I believe this is correct. She wasn't at Holland State Park when she was abducted. They believe she was in the Kalamazoo area, and she was assaulted, but she was not abducted or in any way assaulted at Holland State Park. Is that correct, Sergeant Knott?
That is correct. Captain Bennett did put a news release about that earlier. I believe that is the news release you got. But yeah, that is absolutely correct.
Well, now also they have the gates for the go out on the pier. Now I've seen. Of course, this was when it was still cool weather. I've seen people climb over the gates to go out there. Now, what about security cameras there to see people if they obey the law, or just even on the with the boats coming in there too? It's just, I don't know, just an idea. So
nope, that is fantastic. We're to I guess answer that question. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, along with Park Township and several other organizations, meet for pier safety once a month, and we are actually exploring ideas of or where to place cameras on the pier heads, kind of like they have at Grand Haven and Muskegon. So that is currently under the works.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the call. 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. If you have a question for Ottawa County Sheriff Sergeant Jon Knott. John, just want to double back for a moment and remind people about Operations Dry Water. When is exactly that going to happen, and other key things that people should know about Operation Dry Water?
So again, Operation Dry Water will be July 2 through the 4th. It's a heightened awareness and enforcement for boating under the influence. So we will have extra patrols on that weekend. We will be working with the U.S. Coast Guard as well to conduct those patrols. And it's just targeting, like I said, under the influence boating and education about that.
Yeah, not only under the influence, but also it's a time to also make sure that vessels are properly equipped and shall we say safe. I wouldn't say you're doing a full scale looking at it, but it's enough full scale inspection, but enough to make sure the vessel can be floatable, is safe, and has all the safety requirements too.
Correct, absolutely.
Now, there was some safety classes, and we talked to your colleague Todd Wagner down in Allegan County earlier this month, and I think that it was brought up a little bit last month as well. Ottawa County had some boating safety for other people, law enforcement entities as well.
Absolutely, we're currently in the works of conducting boater safety classes. We had several events where we did vessel safety checks as well. where people could come up to these state boat launches, and we would inspect their boat. And if they passed, they would get a vessel safety inspection sticker, which they could display on their boat. If they didn't pass, they could go back and correct the issue, and we'd inspect the boat again.
The other thing too, now the other point I was going to make is the fact that I think it was other law enforcement officers got together to learn tips about boating safety as well. I think it was a class in the Ottawa County. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that was the Michigan Marine Academy we had back in April. The class itself is held in Ottawa County. We had several different departments, including Muskegon, Kent, Michigan DNR, U.S. Coast Guard, Allegan County, all got together to put on the class. And what it is, it's a class for any municipality or county that wants to have marine patrol officers. They have to send them through the State Marine Academy, which we put on. And we had officers as far away as Delta County up in the UP, and it was a fantastic class. It was a week-long class. A lot of it is classroom, and some of it's practical use out in Lake Macatawa.
One final thing, and I'm going to bring this up, sort of hopefully it puts a little smile to your face, but it does mean, let's put it this way. Sometimes you have to rescue people, not just off of boats. This is a story out of Kodiak, Alaska. Alaska Public Media reports the U.S. Coast Guard had to rescue a group of friends off the coast of Kodiak last weekend that were on a giant inflatable flamingo. Strong winds drug the group out to the middle of nowhere while they were hanging out on the flamingo at the Monashka Bay. Coast Guard had to use the airport helicopter hoist to bring the 3 people back to shore. Yeesh.
Ooh. I've not seen that yet. I haven't had that call yet, but I can see it coming.
Let's not give anybody else any ideas on that. With that, Sergeant Jon Knott, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town. Wish you and everybody with the department well, and we look forward to chatting you probably next month as we continue to talk about boating and water safety.
Absolutely. Likewise. I will send everybody your greetings.
Thank you very much, Jon Knott on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.